There it is. God, you guys are good. Hey, week 2, Joy to the World. Last week we talked about what is joy. It is putting others' needs ahead of ourselves. But tonight, I want to start out this way. I need a volunteer. Oof. Okay. I need Ann. You gonna come up? You sure? Okay, come on up. Okay. No, I gotta volunteer. But Ari, you're the best. Okay. No, I only need one volunteer. This only works. Okay. No, you're not. Would you stop it? Okay. I know who you are.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Wait, what's my name?
Addie. Ha! Okay. Wait, but for everybody else. Okay. What's your name?
Addie.
Gotta sit like.
Addie.
Addie. Okay. What school do you go to?
Bear Valley.
Okay. Bear Valley.
Yeah.
Home of the Sasquatch.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it bears?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm called the Cubs though because we're in
too easy. Okay. What's your favorite color?
white.
White. What's your favorite month?
December.
Why?
Christmas.
It's Christmas, right? Okay, so here I'm gonna jump over here. So I have a present. Okay, I have a present for you. Okay, in this present is something that we thought like you could use like at the Snack Shack or whatever you want. So here's your present. Here's your present.
I'm scared.
Nothing will hurt you. It's literally like the smallest envelope. Like what could it be? She had a present. So what is it? What?
Are you for real?
What is it? It's Chandler. Okay, so you know the game like we messed up like. No, you get. Hang on. No, you get something. That's Chandler. Okay, can you find the right envelope? Sorry. Hang on. I'm sorry. Dude, how did you get the wrong envelope? Is this the right one? Is this the right envelope? Yeah.
Yes.
Is this the? Okay. This is the envelope. Okay, what is it? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's for sure yours. Sorry, I don't know why that was in there, but that's definitely yours. You can use that for Taco Bell, Snack Shack. If you want to be, if you could, if you really want, you could put a down payment on a car. Save it. Okay, but Addie, I have a question. Okay, so when you saw that 20, and then like I was like, that's the wrong one. Like, are you okay with $5?
I'm positive.
You're positive. You're sure? Because I feel really bad. I feel really bad that Chandler messed up.
I don't care.
You're good?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You'd say like.
I'm not spoiled and I'm not gonna be selfish. Give me the money.
You're good? Are you sure?
$2. Give me $1. Okay.
Okay, Addie.
Yeah. Just take the 300,000. No, just take the whole building.
Okay, Addie. Okay, I have a different envelope for you.
Okay. Okay.
Can I borrow that one?
Sure.
Okay. Hang on.
Adopt the child.
This was still not like technically the envelope you're supposed to get.
I'm confused.
This one was. It's not necessarily money though. It's not money. Sorry.
What is it?
I'm sorry.
Show us! Oh my gosh, you're such a...
Do you want to tell everybody what it is?
Show us! It's 2 free spots for the winter camp.
It's what? What is it?
I told you.
It says turn this coupon in to receive 2 free spots to attend Best Weekend Ever Winter Camp. This is for you. And you get the $5. And you get the $5. Give it up for Addie. Like, I'm gonna cry. Addie, are we cool? Like, I'm sorry that $20 wasn't for you. Like, Lizzie's like, I'll take the 20. Here's an idea. What if joy truly was a choice? Like, think about this. What if joy wasn't just an idea, wasn't just something that happened, but what if joy was actually, for real, a choice that you make in every circumstance, in every situation of life? You see, we had $20 here, and I knew as soon as I was like, that's not for you, and we gave her something else, Addie had the perfect reaction. I promise you, no part of this was staged, no part of this was thought about. She had no idea. You see, it's so easy that when something gets taken away from us, for us to throw our hands up, for us to give up, for us to say, I'm done. But yet, in the midst of things being taken away, what we can do is we can choose joy. You see, I'm not saying that always makes life easy. I'm not saying that things aren't going to continue to come at you, but what we can do in all of those circumstances is we can choose joy. And you see, we call it Joy to the World. And as we are continuing to think about this series and what we're going to talk about, if we don't have joy in us, we can't give joy to the world, right? You can't give something that you don't have. You got to have it first so you can then give it away. And as we talk about Christmas, I know, we talk about presents and we talk about what's under the tree and how great this all can be. And I know for some of you that's true. And I also know there's a lot of you in this room that this is the hardest season you've ever been going through in your entire life. I know that for some of you, joy's hard because dad just left. I know for some of you, joy's difficult because your brother or sister is dropping out of school. I know for some of you, joy's difficult because you don't know where you're going to be living next month. I know for some of you, joy is hard because it feels like everything in your life is crashing down, pulling you down, beating you up, taking everything that you had away, and you're left standing there going, what now? You're left standing there with your hands like this going, I don't know what to do. But what if in that moment, instead of throwing our hands up, instead of giving up, instead of saying, I'm out, what if we said, I choose joy? I choose it because there is a bigger and better plan for me beyond this moment. That no matter what is being taken away from you right now, there is so much more that God wants to give to you. But it's up to us making a choice. You see, I remember when I was probably a little bit younger than you guys, my dad left. And it was right before Christmas time, and my dad was the only one in my family who had a job. And so Christmas got real scary and real tight, and we really didn't know where we were going to live. As a kid, there was no presents under the tree. There was a lot of crying, a lot of wondering what next. My world crashed down, and I didn't know what was next. And as a kid, you go, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I don't want to talk to anybody. Why? Why God? Those are all things that we think and go through. But what if joy is a choice? See, Addie could have easily, when I took away that 20, could have said, well, this sucks. She said, are you serious? Give me that $20. It's right in your hand. Give it to me. But she didn't. I gave her 5, and she said, it's more than I have. This is great. But then I took that away. And she could have said, what are you doing? Why are you? But she said, okay, because there was something else for her. And in that, I'm telling you, Addie had the perfect reaction. It was joy. It was, okay, let's do this, whatever. It's all good. So what if joy was a choice? Tonight, we're going to dive into a story of a guy named Joseph. If you've got your Bible on your phone, you can go ahead and you can turn to Genesis, which is the first book of the Bible. But here's what we know. We're going to jump into Genesis chapter 37. Joseph was this guy that was born into a family where he had 10 older brothers. That sounds awful. 10 older brothers. Somebody's getting slapped like every day, right? But Joseph was born into this family. He's born into this time. And if you're the youngest in here, you probably are going to resonate with this guy just a little bit. Joseph was far and away the favorite. Anybody the youngest in here? Anybody like clearly know that you're the favorite? Yeah. Like it's not even close, okay? Like I'm the baby. I've got 2 older sisters, and like it's not even close, like who the favorite is, okay? That makes me uncomfortable. Like if you're the youngest, it's pretty obvious that you're the favorite, right? Any of you the oldest in here? Any of you clearly know that you're not the favorite?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. It's just, hey guys, I don't make the rules, okay? But I'm a parent now, and like this like is as accurate as anything, okay? My youngest, Dylan, if you've seen her, she's cute as a button. She's so funny. And the other 2 are kind of turds, okay? And this video is going on YouTube, so someday, kids, you're going to watch this and go, Dad, you were right, okay? But Joseph is a guy, he's born to this family, he's the youngest, and his dad loves him. And so while his brothers are out herding the sheep and doing all the hard labor, Joseph gets to kick it with Dad, watch some football, eat pancakes, pick their noses, whatever you wanted to do. If you're telling me right now, guy or girl in this room, that you don't pick your nose, you're a liar. I store them right here. And I go like this, and they're like, save them. Just kidding. I put them behind my ear. But Joseph got to hang out with his dad all the time. Joseph and his dad were homies. And then all of a sudden, while his brothers already thought he was annoying, little brother, Dad likes you more, and I don't get it, he had a dream. And Joseph, in his dream, which was not his choice, it was just a dream that came from God. In this dream, essentially what it meant was that his brothers, someday, which was, if you think about it, kind of dumb for Joseph to tell his brothers, because it's going to cause a lot of jealousy. He tells his brothers that my dream meant that one day all of you are going to bow down before me. Oh, I know if I ever told my sisters that, somebody's getting slapped right in the face, and it's me, okay? But he tells him this dream, right? And his brothers began to get so upset, so frustrated. They're like, one of his brothers says, you're telling us that we're going to bow down to you, little brother? You're joking. And he goes, I don't know, that's what God said. And when somebody says that's what God said, it's like, I can't argue with it, right? And so then they keep going, and he has other dreams and all these things. And then one day he goes out to find his brothers because his dad doesn't know where they are. They're out working, so he goes to find them. And his brothers see him off in the distance. And his brothers are just so frustrated, so fed up, so sick of all of this. We're going to pick up in Genesis 37:18. It says this, but they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. Big bro's going to take you out, okay? 19, right? You guys ever been insulted by your siblings? Here it is. Bring it with me. Verse 19. Here comes that dreamer, they said to each other. Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams. At this point, his brothers are so fed up, so sick of it, so done. A cistern is this giant like hole in the ground. It's really deep. Some of them had water in it, some of them didn't. And they throw him in. And the one they throw him in has no water, so he's just in this pit. And then his brothers, so casually, they start to eat lunch. We're going to leave him in there. We're going to kill him, whatever. We're going to eat lunch and relax and figure out how we're going to do this. Who's going to pull off which arm, what we're going to do. And then one of his brothers steps up, and he has this thought, and he goes, we can't kill him. I'm going to try to save him. So one of his brothers says, guys, let's not kill him, but let's figure out what we're going to do with him. And his plan was that he would bring, this one brother, he was going to bring Joseph back to his dad. He tried to get him back, he tried to fix this whole thing. But as they're eating lunch, a caravan of slavers came by. People that bought people, sold them into slavery, all those things. And so the brothers were like, wait a second, instead of just killing him, like we should get money for him, right? Let's get money so we can buy food, like that'd be cool. So as the caravan comes by, they sell Joseph to these slavers. And in this moment, Joseph could throw up his hands and say, I'm done, are you kidding me? But Joseph knew that there was something bigger, that there was a God who cared for him. And in this, and I know it's hard to see it, I'm not talking about happy. He chose joy in God. And so in this, then as the caravan gets to Egypt, they sell him to a house of a guy named Potiphar, who was right up there, right below Pharaoh. He was in charge of so much. And Joseph, instead of giving up, he works hard. And because of that, God sees favor in him and begins to bless him. And everything that Joseph touched, everything that he worked on, everything that he did was great. Everything, the food, the cleaning, the staff, everything was good because God blessed him, because Joseph didn't just give up, didn't get angry. He found joy in God. And he pushed forward. He didn't give up. And so in that, he begins to work, and then he becomes Potiphar's like number two. He's right there. He's running the house. He's doing everything. He's a slave, but now he's got this big boy job. But Joseph gets kind of stuck. Joseph gets put in this really uncomfortable situation and has to make a choice. You see, as he begins to get higher and higher in the house of Potiphar, Potiphar's wife begins to notice him. Potiphar's wife begins to be attracted to him. Yeah. A lot of weird reactions here. And so one day, Potiphar's wife comes up to him and says, take me away. And Joseph says, no. He says, I've worked so hard for this. How could I betray Potiphar? How could I betray my master? And so day after day after day after day, she continues to come to him. And he continues to say no. And finally one day, she comes up to him and she says, take me away. And he says no. And she grabs his cloak and he runs. And she takes that cloak and shows Potiphar and says, look, you let this man into our house and he tried to take me for his own. What are you going to do about it? And so Potiphar backs up his wife. And he says, oh, he's done. He's out. So he throws him in jail. Again, he has these dreams a long time ago. Nothing of his choice, has these dreams. His brothers then throw him in a pit, sell him into slavery. Then he works super hard, trusts in God, becomes very high up in Egypt, and then he does nothing and somebody comes after him, and then he gets thrown in jail. It's this up, down, and in the midst of all of this, Joseph continues to find joy and trust and love in God. He chooses joy. Instead of choosing to throw his hands up, instead of choosing to say, this sucks, he chooses joy and chooses to trust God. And so in that, while he's in this prison, he deciphers some other dreams, and the guards hear about it. And so then Pharaoh begins to have some dreams. And so Pharaoh says, there's a guy that can interpret these, bring him over. So Pharaoh brings Joseph out, and he hears this dream, and the dream essentially says that there's going to be a long, long famine, which means that there's zero food, okay? And Pharaoh begins to panic. But what they know is that Joseph, when he was working, that God had favor in him. So then Pharaoh puts him second in command of all of Egypt. Slave to number 2 to only one guy, the number 1 guy in all of Egypt. And so they begin to put this plan together to save up the harvest, to save up grains and food and everything. And then when the famine hits, people from all over Egypt show up to come get food so that way they can survive. And you know who shows up? The brothers. Talk about awkward. Right? And so they show up and they ask for food. They ask for food, and Joseph is standing there, and they don't recognize him because they're thinking this dude's probably dead. And they begin to talk about their families, and his brothers say, our father's at home, he's old, one of our brothers isn't here. And Joseph goes, wait a second. There's 10 of you. There's another brother. Our parents, again, they don't know it's him, had a kid after me, and you're cool with him? But yet you were done with me and threw me in a pit and sold me? So in this moment, this is a slip. Joseph begins to get angry. So he sends his brothers back to his father, then they come back, and then in that, they bring the youngest brother, because Joseph says, I need you to bring him, I need to meet him, right? They don't know that it's Joseph. And in that, he frames them for stealing something from his house. So they throw brother in jail. And in this, they're freaking out. They're like, what are we supposed to do? Our dad, he can't handle losing another son. Like, what do we do? And in that moment, Joseph realized that there was a plan that God had for him that he didn't realize through all of this hardship. You see, he just thought, I've been sold into slavery, my brothers hate me, how could this happen? And then Joseph gets this picture in his head that God had all this happen so I could be here in Egypt to save all of these lives. And so in this moment, which I don't know that I would be able to do this, he chooses joy. And remember, we talked about this last week. Joy is choosing to put others' needs before your own. When he became a slave to Potiphar, choosing other people's needs was cleaning the house, was running the slaves and the other workers and everything, was doing that, and then was interpreting dreams, and then was helping Egypt live. He was choosing other people's happiness and their bettering of their lives over his own. And then in this moment, he could easily say, you know what, I'm number 2, you're all dead. I don't care what happens to you, you're done. But he doesn't. Genesis 45, verse 4 says this. Then Joseph said to his brothers, come close to me. Again, they hadn't realized this was Joseph yet. When they had done so, he said, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now, there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. He knew that there was something bigger, and in that moment he could have been angry, he could have done whatever he wanted, but he chose joy. Even though life kicked him, even though everything was ripped away from him, he'd been pulled away from his family, the people that he loved, he chose joy every time something got taken from him because he knew that there's got to be something bigger than this that God has planned for me. And so for us in this season, let's just start the next couple weeks as Christmas comes. No matter what your Christmas looks like, no matter what you get, no matter what you don't get, no matter who's around, no matter who isn't around, let's choose joy. Let's choose to trust God. We can choose to give up. We can choose to be angry. We can choose to say, I'm out. But does that do anything for us? But what if in that we could choose joy and choose to continue to love other people around us? What if we could choose that no matter what was going on around us, that we could have something greater. You see, joy lets us live in a way that our surroundings might say is impossible. Everything in your world might be saying, there's no joy here. There's nothing to be excited about. There's nothing to talk about. Life sucks. And that's it. That's the end of it. Period. Done. Seal it up. It's out. But my question for you is, are you going to choose joy? In the midst of things you can't control, in the midst of other people making decisions that directly affect you, what choice are you going to make? My prayer for all of you is that this season, no matter what's going on at home with friends, family, school, anything, that no matter what their choices are, that you would be able to find joy and choose that. This season, love people, care for them. We're doing this blanket drive because it's a simple way to just love people. And I know that sounds hard, and I know I got to go to the store and get a blanket, and I get it. Sometimes it's inconvenient. But choose joy and choose to love people, and I promise, life looks different. I promise that when you choose what you're going to be and you don't let somebody else do it, man, you walk a little different. You sound a little different. You feel a lot different. So that's my prayer for all of you, and I hope this holiday season that you, each and every one of you, would be able to find joy in the midst of chaos. I'm going to bring the band back up, and we're going to pray. Let's worship our God together. Let's have a great season. God, thank you so much for everything you do for us. I pray that as we go into this Christmas season, in these difficult times, in chaos, in disruption, in choices that we don't get to make, but someone gets to make for us, that we would be able to remember that your son came and died on that cross for us, that we're allowed to have something better than the chaos. We're allowed to choose something that is so much greater. I pray as we approach Christmas that no matter what's under that tree, no matter who's around, no matter who's at home, no matter who's gone, that we would be able to embrace your love. That in this season of crazy, that we would be able to see that there's something better for us. There's something coming. We don't know when, we don't know what, we don't know how, but you have something greater planned for each of us. I pray that when our hearts aren't in it, when our minds just don't know what to do, that we would simply look to you, find joy, and trust there's something that you have planned for us. We thank you so much for everything that you do, everything you have done, and everything that you will continue to provide for us, give to us, and plan for us. Thank you for everyone that's here. As we go to small groups, we'll be able to talk about joy, talk about what it means, and really open up and allow the conversations to flow. Thank you for all that you do. In your name we pray. Amen.